Hello, my dear, and welcome to my channel. What we are going to talk about today, it is perception. So what is perception? Perception is how we perceive the world. So it is the perception of our physical body, it is the perception of our thoughts, it's the perception of our feelings, it's the perception of our emotions, and it's the perception of how we think of the past, how we think of the future, and so on and so forth. And the question is this perception true? Is it really true what we perceive? So the thing is with the perception is that there is always an ongoing interpretation from the level of our mind, which actually means that all the time our perceptions got interpreted in a way the mind thinks the perceptions are. The problem with that is that the mind's perceptions are not necessarily true. And I'm going to tell you why. So we were born into a body, we grew up, and while we grew up, we got a lot of informations. We got a lot of informations how to perceive the world. Our parents told us how to perceive the world. Our genes tell us how to perceive the world. Our teachers told us how to perceive the world. So, which actually means that the whole perception of the whole world we're living in is actually interpreted by a mind who is programmed by the world we're living in. And you can think what that means. And I tell you, the whole perception thing, it's completely wrong interpreted by our mind. So the crazy thing is, if you think further, you go out of the door of your house, you meet people, you go, I don't know, wherever, you sit in front of your device and you watch videos. All people you see, basically all people you see, are people who just interpret the world in the way their mind, which is programmed by their past, telling them to interpret the world. And that is a big threat for us. That is why we have so much problems. And that is why we're so entangled inside of our problems. We are actually very identified with the way our mind is interpreting the world. So what we're going to do now, and here it comes. You are having a higher self. There is a part of you who never actually incarnated in this world. Call it higher self, call it Christ, call it God. And this part knows exactly the right interpretation of this world. And that's where you have to go. You have to understand that your interpretation is full of obstacles which are in the way of your higher self for interpreting for you the world as it really is. Yes. So there is a very easy trick to just make your higher self interpreting the world instead of your ego or your mind or whatever is there who interprets. And it goes like this. You basically just close your eyes, you sit there, and I give the majority of the interpretation of the perception to my higher self. or to Christ or to God. Yeah, it's very simple, right? You just sit there and do that every day. You can do it 3 times a day. You can do it always when you have a moment where you can just be like 5 seconds by yourself. It's good to just take a few breaths, settle into your heart and do that. Just breathe and say, I give the interpretation of the perception to my higher self. Some quiet moments, some breathing, and then you go on. That's how simple it is. So that was the topic of today. I wish you a wonderful time. Be blessed. Namaste.